Welcome to the Scythian Dragon Lords education channel. This video is going to be about Menroth the Great, King Nimrod of the Magyars. In this video about King Nimrod, I'm going to reference three people. I'm going to reference Alfred Hamori, also going to reference Kish, Mao-tun, Istvan, and I will also reference a paper by Joseph Kemeny. The Hungarian Magyar legend of King Nimrod of the Magyar Turu dynasty is one of the mythologies that have been passed down. It goes from Nimrod, which is has two sons, Hanor and Magor, the Huns and the Magyars. They go hunting and they go after the miracle deer. The miracle deer takes them to the new land, and from there, the Magyar people go different directions, and a lot of the mythology, it starts the actual knowledge of the people. The Hungarian legend of the White Stag, which references King Menroth Nimrod, tells us that the legend that Menroth married Ene, and this Ene probably was a daughter of an influential Persian leader, who with reinforcement of the relationship between Menroth's people and the Persians. Menroth's people also had increase in population, and this made them move out towards the Zagros Mountains out there, which were called the Turanian people, which is just another part of the family. These who reigned in Menroth's marriages, and they had a couple of sons who were called Hanor and Magor, the Hun and the Magyar. And then it says, when the time had come, Menroth had to divide his people into two parts. One part of the population, the Turanian people, remained in Persia. The other part got ready to continue to Asia with their great leader Menroth. It was certainly probably a hard decision to make. The Turanian people belonged to Menroth. They were all Menroth's people, his sons and his daughters, who together formed a great nation at the foot of the Turan Mountains. This nation and its people were divided into two parts. The legend goes further, saying that those who remained looked like children of Hanor. Also the language, as time went by, remaining Turanian people mixed with the Asian Persians. Now, according to Alfred Hamori, Nimrod was the father of both the Magyars and the Huns, for a certain branch of the Huns that lived in the Caucasian Mountains area. Those are supposedly the descendants of the twin brother Hanor. Hanora Sirta is also an old city in Armenia founded by Hanor. The Armenian chronicles state that the Magyars of Europe originated from Armenia. Those Magyars probably did that, came from there. But, the ancestors always goes back to the Danube civilization. There was also a dynasty of kings in adjacent Georgia whose name was Nimrod Nimrod, and Magyars, Huns, and Parthians also are believed to have received rulers from them. There's always a possibility that the Nimrod that is claimed to be the biblical one is really not the same one in the Hungarian chronicles. But the Armenians also claim that there were many wars between the people of Nimrod and the Armenian ancestor Hajek, which could be interpreted in many different ways. He also says that that Nimrod was the master of all the early sciences. He is the greatest archer and father of the archer nations, Scythians, Huns, and the Sumerian god Nimerta seem to be closely related to him. He originally was a fertility god called Ningurshu, the partner of the goddess Bao. Both later became the heroic champion of the gods of Sumeria. Over time, he became the symbolic ancestor of others under various names, which because of the similars of the names that are associated with, Nimrod, Baal, all these different names. The Tughril dynasty family tree does include King Nimrod. His areas were down there by the Hurrian Kingdom, Subartu, Mesopotamia area. He was the son of Cush. The Cush nations, the Kassites, originate from the consultation of Cush, they say. One of the myths with all the different associations of the Nimrod position. We actually do have Kish Mao-tun Istvan, who describes 4 different Nimrods of our time. The Nimrod that we associate with the stag, the great stag myth, is the Nimrod of that had the sons Hanor and Magor with the wife Anna, who was part of that Subartu area that later on went to the Zagros Mountains, then out towards towards Bactria, Afghanistan area. They were part of the Magyarites. Now, King Nimrod is referenced as the great mighty hunter, and the Scythian bow actually represents the Scythian people. You always see a picture of Nimrod holding back the Scythian bow, which does represent that he is the royal Scythian king, actually the first land king, and most of the kings branched out from Nimrod, and when they were running through with the Magyar Tughril dynasty. Most of the kings are chosen, from among the Magi king priest class, and that's where most of the people were placed into empires and kingdoms and all different new empires that they, the Magi went out and built out. They would, choose someone from the Magi or someone in that class. According to Joseph Kemeny on his work Magyars and the Magyar paper, Menroth was a reincarnation of Enki, who was later Adam, earthly Adam. Earthly Adam was also called God of Wars. The legend's message was that the god of the Magyars at the time was earthly Adam, who was also a deer, which was hunted by Hanor and Magor, the Huns and the Magyars. In those days, there was a so-called Zoroastrian religion and culture, as well as a pagan nature culture. The Hungarians were mostly supporters of the pagan tradition. Now, another Hungarian legend that I'm going to talk about is the legend of the dream of Emes. Emes was the mother of King Almos, and that line goes down towards Arpad, and it goes back towards Attila. But Emes, she was a Parthian princess that the Magyars actually married into the Parthians, and that's where the Scythians of Parthia ended up coming up towards the Carpathian Basin. They had an area called Subar Asphalti, which meant the land of Sumer, which belonged to their area. Like there was a city of Arpad over there and Syria area. And like I said, the old Aberdeen Empire, which ruled Parthia. Those people, when Parthia fell apart, because they were already married into the royal Scythian Magyars, they moved over, and then that's where you get the 8 tribes, 8 nations, that Arpad took over and back to Carpathian Basin to go and get back the gold and tell the people to stop burning our double cross, and that was part of the Turul dynasty. Emesh, who was married to Ujek. Ujek was a supreme Scythian lord. So what that means is he was one of the top people that, almost like an emperor. So at that time, they still, those are the type of tribal leaders that they had. In Hungary, we have two different leader types. One is called the Jula, and the other one is called the Kende. One of them is a spiritual leader, another one is like a war type leader. And Arpad, they say he was a Kende, but he was definitely a Jula, because he was also, they say he was also a priest king. The stag hunted by Hanor and Magor, sons of Menroth, in the Motis area. That stag represents the Magyars god and the heathen culture. The Turul symbol is also a heathen symbol. The Turul represents Emesh Anna, who was Nimrod's wife, and the two little birds that the Turul is holding, is Hanor and Magor, and that's definitely a heathen symbol. That symbol was passed down from Magyar Császár King Attila, who was the King of Kings. That was passed down to Arpad, and when Arpad came back into the Carpathian Basin with those tribes, which they say 8 nations, but according to Kish Mao-tun Istvan, there was almost 36 tribes that came back, mostly Hungarian tribes. I've heard numbers up to 105 to 115 different tribes out towards the east, Central Asia, East Asia, but 36 was the number that was some of the tribes that returned back, and these were for thousands of years, and it wasn't just during Arpad's time. So that 896 timeline, we'll definitely have to do another video on that one. The Ulu symbol, which is the Turul with the 2 stags, that from 25, they say 26 down to 2500 BC. It depicts the Turul and the lion of light in the house of sun. The stag represents Nimrod's son's people, Hanor and Magor, which is part of the Hungarian mythology. And this is a very important, artifact that, came down from the Mesopotamian area. When you see the birds and the Turul, it used to have, it's 100% the Magyar Turul dynasty. So it's an easy symbol that you can actually, when you see it, you can definitely know that those are Magyar symbols. One interesting name association that I'm going to talk about is Ninurta. Ninurta is the ascension of Nimrod, basically. Ninurta's symbol is the double-headed eagle. Wherever you see the double-headed eagle, that is Nimrod. That is Nimrod's people. It used to be one Turul eagle, and they split it out to the double eagle. Ninurta is another word for Nimrod, Marduk, Umar. They have various different names, but the eagle actually goes back towards the Mitanni Empire, and back to Mesopotamia area as well. And Ninurta was the one who was married to Bao. So another person that we can talk about was Dagon, which was another association of a Nimrod, of a position. He was the fish deity, and that's the hat that the popes wear today. That's that fish hat. That also is a reference towards Nimrod. Another one was Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was the bull deity. He's holding the lion and then the snake, or some of the statues have him holding the snake, it's a certain type of sword. And then you have Osiris. Osiris was another name association. He was also a bull deity. The interesting part about Osiris is most of the pictures that you see of Osiris were green. And green references that Osiris was already dead. So, Osiris and Isis, one of the same stories that were moved down from Mesopotamia. Another name for Isis, Ishtar, Boldagoson, and, many different names, Venus, all the different names that they associated. They say that Osiris was a reincarnation of the bull Gilgamesh. When it came to divinity, he really came forward. He claimed to be the god of death and the ruler kingdom of death. Now, the ancient Magyars, they practiced in their religion. They practiced the cult of the mother goddess. This can be found among the Magyars and among the Sumerians. Not only that, we also share about 6,000 words with the Sumerian language. So Old Sumerian and Magyar are very, very similar. Both people honored the mother goddess as the symbol of motherhood. Semiramis, Queen of Heaven, and Nana, or Boldagoson was some of the names. Now, Boldagoson, we would say that would be the Scythian, Hungarian, Magyar. That's the protector of mothers. That is during the Persian times. The name that she go by is Anahita, and Anahita was part of the during the Parthian Empire. And a lion was by her feet usually. This representation is also found among the Sumerians and the Magyars. Also, according to Alfred Hamori, many of the attributes of Nimrod are based upon word associations of his name. Ninurta or Minurta variations reflect various associations of his name as well. Sumerian meanings, men 4 plus is a crown, is also the first ruler. Menroth, that's supreme crown ruler. Nem en, lordship, royalty. Nim is prince. He became the first ruler of the world and an ancestor of kings, but mainly found in northern Mesopotamia. Me, en, where me is the creator word, divine decree. En is the Lord. Den is called the greatest magician creator ever, the master of all the ancient sciences. En im Murta is the lord of the north windstorm. Mur is a windstorm. Hungarian ne mer the spirit of north wind. Now, Alfred Hamori also believes that the Sumerian Nimrod to be the Sumerian god Ninurta, who is the husband of Bao and is a renowned hero of many stories. There has been many different heroes of the past that were claimed to be Nimrod, Gilgamesh, Zoroaster, Ur-Nammu, and other famous rulers with names resembling Nim, Nem, Men. Then there was also a late dynasty of Nebru kings of Georgia, which may be the source of the Hungarian, Georgian, and Parthian kings' claim of originating from a Nimrodite dynasty. Thank you for watching part 1 of King Menroth Nimrod of the Magyars. Have a great day.